All right, no more of that.
No more of that. I'm done messing with that for tonight. Why my MacBook insists on turning down microphone volumes whenever we're in any sort of meeting software talking to each other. I don't know, but we'll figure it out another time.
It's not worth it.
Wasted enough time tonight with that. And I can just put a game plug-in on my voice and be good to go. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the PUDs Podcast. So what's going on, dude?
What's going on, man? What's up?
Nothing much. PUDs episode 21. Coming off Thanksgiving. How was your turkey day?
It was fantastic. How was yours?
It was good. It was very enjoyable, other than getting a sinus infection basically that night and having it through most of the weekend. I did get out hiking Sunday, so I didn't feel that bad, but I was pretty beat down on Friday day for sure. And by Friday night, I was feeling a little bit better.
It was only a matter of time before you hit that sinus infection hit you.
Yeah, it seems to be hitting everybody. Even I was just over Ryland's daycare place, and the lady over there also has a sinus infection, so I think it's just going around and everybody's getting it. So if my voice sounds a little bit more sultry than usual, that's why. Oh yeah.
It's a good thing. That's just an added benefit of the post sinus infection.
Just an added bonus. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So hey, did you hear?
No.
About Fairhaven High School? They just won the Super Bowl.
Oh, is that why they're at Gillette tonight?
Yeah, they were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I heard.
So Fairhaven. Congratulations to Fairhaven High School. I think they were the 8th seed. They were the lowest seed. I think it's like Division 6, but they were the lowest seed in Division 6, the Division 6 playoffs, and they just won the Super Bowl. They beat Salem.
Oh, that's pretty neat. We should mention Fairhaven, Massachusetts, for anybody that doesn't necessarily know we're in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And I think both of us get criticized for how we say Fairhaven. But the Fairhaven people just say Fairhaven or something. They just say it as like one flowing thing.
Fairhaven.
Yeah, Fairhaven. But yeah, I did know just because Ash's mom usually watches Ryland on Thursday, Friday, and she actually switched up because they were going to Gillette to see them play tonight, her and Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Oh, they ended up going to the game?
Yeah, they're going there
good
tonight.
Yeah, good for them. That's pretty cool, though. It's been a long time since it's a small school, so Ashley and Melissa and friend of the podcast Sarah all went there, so they Melissa was watching it when I got home from work. I thought it was pretty cool that they were there. Such a small school to even be in that arena is pretty awesome.
And not necessarily known for their football prowess. Dartmouth's always the one in that area that has like the dominating team, right? Just because Dartmouth's huge.
Yeah.
And they get like everybody.
Right.
Word.
You want to get into the scramble?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, man. You get any good stories? I got a couple good stories from pre-Thanksgiving. I gotta hash some stuff out about Bill Wing Turkey Farm.
Go ahead. Yeah. Ooh, all right. Hash it out.
So Bell Wing Turkey Farm in Seekonk on 44. Their turkeys, always fantastic. But I waited over 2 hours in line to get my turkey this year, which was freaking insane. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. Like next year, if you want me to pay me to sling turkeys for like a couple days, I'll take the day off and you can just pay me in cash. But I don't know what the hell is going on over there, what their system is. I'm starting to think it's not just people ignoring pickup times for their turkeys. It's just it's just super unorganized, poorly organized.
Yeah, because
just a crap show.
You were like giving them credit for like, hey, they give you a window of time to pick up, or they tell you what your pickup time is, and yeah, that all went out the window as I listened to about 2.5 hours of podcast while I was waiting to get my turkey on the side of 44. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It was kind of just ridiculous. Yeah, I went at my assigned time, and I literally was maybe, no exaggeration, like quarter to half a mile away, I'd say, on 44, waiting on the side of the road. And it took well over 2 hours to actually get my turkey.
Really?
And just pulling up to the front of the farm stand, it still took them probably about 30 minutes to get my turkey. And actually, when the turkey handler, I don't know what you'd call them, the turkey handler, came back to my car the first time, he gave me the wrong turkey and had the wrong name. So he tried to give me like an 18-pound turkey for like, I think it was like Mr. Scott or something like that, instead of a 24-pound turkey for Mr. Sidla. So I wasn't super thrilled with the entire experience. The bird was fantastic. I will be definitely finding somewhere else next year because I have better things to do than sit in my car for 2.5 hours on the day before Thanksgiving or whenever, or 2 days before Thanksgiving, when we already have a lot of stuff to do.
I'll tell you where you can go.
The supermarket. Stop and shop.
Stop and shop. Aldi's.
So I think just to keep with the farm thing, like I'm going to check out either Rainbow Turkey Farm, or there's a couple smaller farms around here that do sort of limited amounts of turkey, and as long as you give them like an advance notice, they'll get one for you. Like I felt like an idiot, especially because I ran by one of these said farms later on Tuesday, and they had like 9 fresh turkeys just chilling there that I could have just literally probably walked up and just gotten. So yeah.
So is it all the hype now? Is that what it is? Is it because of that turkey farm? Like, is it like a hyped up place and they have way too many orders?
For sure, I think they do. And it's funny, it's not like even a recent thing. Like I was talking to Ryland's daycare owner, and she grew up in Rehoboth, and she said it's been like that like forever. She said it was probably just a little bit better during COVID because less people were getting turkeys and kind of going out of the way to do that, because it makes sense. Less people were just kind of getting together for Thanksgiving in general. So I think the first couple of years, like the first year I went, it was like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. The same with the last year was a little longer, but this year was like, I clocked it. It was well over 2.5 hours to get a turkey, which was just ridiculous. And it's funny, like I went later at night, me and Ash drove by because we were going to Stop and Shop or Shaw's to go shopping. And it was still like just as bad, like later at night even. And I had gone earlier in the day. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing over there at Bellwing. I know a lot of people love their turkeys. I will freely and fully admit that their turkeys are awesome. I've always been really satisfied, but that wait time is just something else.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You gotta support local farmers though.
Yeah.
You gotta support the local farmers.
Well, I'll support another local farmer at least next year. Speaking
of that, I saw a friend of the podcast, Jenny Slate.
Oh, really? Again?
She's doing she's actually doing a fundraiser for like the Southeastern Massachusetts Agricultural Partnership, I think. Okay. I saw that she was doing something.
It's a mouthful.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, because me and Jenny Slate super close friends. Just because you were talking about farms, that made me think about that. But
well, it's good she supports the farms.
Yeah, she supports the farms.
She's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Josh was like, of course you support the farms. You're amazing, Jenny Slate. I love Jenny you. Slate. That's cool.
But yeah, so that's pretty cool. I think she's doing like a live, I don't know if a show or like reading something. I don't know, but yeah, just you talking and ranting about your farm experience made me think.
Yeah, again, I fully realize too it's a first world problem, but it was just ridiculous. I'm like, it's just not, their turkey's not that good that it's worth waiting 2.5 hours to go get it. Daylight and stuff is already limited that time of year, and we're already running around trying to get our house ready for 30 people to come over. So it was
the last thing you want to do is be waiting for your turkey. You can wait for it to come out of the oven, but you can't wait to pick it up. Like that's unheard of.
I mean, turkey was great. Everybody loved it. Next year I will be finding a new turkey spot.
Yeah. We had a good Thanksgiving though. Like cool. It was nice to host over here, have the family.
Yeah, first Thanksgiving hosted at your house.
Yeah, first Thanksgiving. The new Rogers home
in Tiverton.
In Tiverton, kid. But yeah, no, it went great. It was very low key, very chill. Food was awesome. It was just nice. There was no stress. Just cook that food and hang out and enjoy each other's company. It was good. And
that's cool, man.
I spent some time the next day, the Saturday, on a little farm of my own. We went down to Buzzards Bay Brewery. Ooh. For they were having like a little Christmas bazaar, I guess you want to call it. And so we went down there on Saturday, and they had like fire pits going outside. They had the tent with like different vendors. They had their beer, they had the wine. And then they had some like vendors inside, like selling different crafts and different things like that. It was pretty cool. It was nice to be able to just hang out outside, bring Jeremiah, let him run around the farm, and drink some beers.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So what kind of vendors did they have? Just like local?
Yeah, it was local. They had
shops and stuff.
Yeah, local shops. They had a lot of like one woman that had stained glass. They had people that made art out of like rope and stuff like that. They had this lady that made like these tiki. I almost bought one. It was like a tiki made out of cement, like almost like a tiki head made out of cement, and then the inside was like an open fire. But all you used was like rubbing alcohol, and you just lit it was inside like this metal container, and you just lit it, and it was just open fire. It was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's neat. Yeah. It was cold out Saturday too, right?
Oh, it was freezing. Yeah, it was freezing.
I'm like, you guys must have been bundled up because you had sent it to me before, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't in a
Yeah, you
spot.
didn't join me. It's all right. You didn't want to hang out with me and drink beers.
Yeah. Never. We never
do that. It's a first. That might be a first. The first time you've ever turned down some beers.
Did they have anything wintry or holiday themed?
They had a cranberry sour that was like not what I expected. Like when I think of a sour, I think of like the real fruity, like and like usually like the color of the fruit, whatever. But it was like ambery, like ale-y, and it was really good. It was very intriguing. It was really good. Did
it taste like cranberries at all? Despite
the
flavor.
Yeah,
I was gonna say despite the flavor, despite the color.
Yeah, it did, and that's kind of what kind of threw me. I was like, I didn't realize it was gonna be like that, because I expected it to be like red when they poured it, but it was like I said, it looked like an ambery ale. Interesting. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, they're good. They haven't been open super long either, right?
No, but it's nice because it's just literally an open field, like on a farm, that they have their little setup, their little tap room, and then you just go grab your beers, go hang out. People bring their dogs, bring their kids. Yeah, it's cool.
It's neat. Do they have anything for kids to do too?
Yeah, run around the field.
Yeah, that works. Fair.
Yeah.
What do I do? Just go run around to the field.
Yeah, they had like a live band. They had a few things. We didn't stay too long.
The Buzzard Bay Boys.
The Buzzards boys. The Buzzards. Billy-B and the Buzzards. But we didn't stay for too long. We came home afterwards and like put up the Christmas tree and decorated the house and stuff like that. So
yeah, we're probably gonna get our tree next week. We're a little bit behind. It always lines up that Ash has this like regional meeting the first Friday in December, which is usually when we like to get our tree. And we used to kind of try to like do all of that in like one day, or she'd get out early or something, but we're just gonna wait a little bit later this year. And we usually help my mom get her tree too and get that all set up. So
yeah, because you guys go get real trees, right?
Oh yeah, we do real trees. Fake
I don't
tree.
have time for all that vacuuming.
Yeah, if you get a good tree, it's not usually too bad.
Yeah.
At the end, when you take it down, usually it'll explode a little bit. But
haven't you learned from your farm experiences with the turkey? Don't get the tree, dude.
No, it's been we've had good luck with our tree with JL Landscaping in Seekonk. Another plug.
Oh, you go to JLL?
J and L.
Oh, I thought it was JLL.
We used to go to a farm down in Swansea, but called Johnson's. But we've been going to J and L lately.
You gotta come to the Tiverton tree farm.
There's like 50 tree farms between me and you.
Yeah,
probably.
But I'm only here.
That's true, I guess. Do you sell Christmas trees? I could see you selling Christmas trees. You like that nice beard. You could put you in some nice decorative flannel. Little Santa hat. You'd make mad tips.
I got a spruce back here for you.
Yeah, I have a fine Fraser fir. If you're willing to spend a little bit more money.
Oh my lord!
The party don't stop till the needles drop. Anywho,
right. Let's get into the main topic. Well, let's get into next music moment. I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm like usually the one to save it. Cool, let's do it. All right, so Nick's music moment for episode 21. So there's this album that came out in 1987, and it's called A Very Special Christmas, and it's sort of like a rock music of the time sampler album. A lot of these hits are really still on the radio, but I actually found this CD and the old vinyl version of this in my dad's record collection, and he definitely played it growing up. So for me, it's definitely nostalgic. That being said, I think most of these songs are still good songs in their own right. And there's everything on this A Very Special Christmas album from like Run DMC has a song on it, which is kind of interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a good variety of like all the artists that were on at the time. And there's like a second, third, and maybe even a fourth volume too. But be warned that if you go to listen to the other volumes, they kind of suck compared to the first one. They just don't hold up. The Smashing Pumpkins had a Christmas song, which I never knew about. And the reason I never knew about it is because it's god awful and nobody should ever listen to it. And
we gotta break down our favorite Christmas songs maybe on a later episode.
Yeah, I like that idea. So anyways, without further ado, the first song that I picked off this album is Merry Christmas Baby by Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. So I think most people would probably, if you grew up when we did, and it's definitely still on the radio, like all these songs are, they're all just Christmas classics.
Yeah.
Christmas classics. The second song is Do You Hear What I Hear? And it's the Whitney Houston version. So just classic Christmas. Yeah, and that one's still on the radio all the time.
Wow.
She has such a pure voice. It's just so good. Fantastic stuff. The third pick is Christmas, Baby Please Come Home, and this is the U2 version of it. And it's interesting that because Bono's voice, I think because he couldn't sing high up, it's like dropped down like a step or like a half step. So it just sounds a little bit different, I think, than other versions that you probably have heard of that song. And Bono's voice was probably in like his peak around then. Not that he has an awful voice, but he definitely stopped singing higher, like probably post early 90s. Like he just didn't anymore.
Yeah.
Except for some really awful songs that nobody listened to.
I like that song.
Which song is that?
Hello. I'm in a place called Vertigo.
I just prefer to think they didn't have anything after the Joshua Tree that came out. That's how I roll with U2. And except like Beautiful Day and a few other hit songs.
You're not a fan of Vertigo?
Yeah, Vertigo. Okay. Vertigo I can mess with. I can get down with that occasionally. Okay. Or Elevation. Or is that that song, right?
Yeah.
Elevation. Woo! Anyways, the fourth song is Silent Night, and this is the Stevie Nicks version. Stevie Nicks just holding it down. Very, very solid performance of Silent Night. Perhaps maybe one of the best ones of any sort of rock artist. And the last one is Winter Wonderland by the Eurythmics. And the Eurythmics, for people who aren't familiar, is Annie Lennox's sort of band that she came up in. So one of my first concerts I saw, Annie Lennox and Sting. So Annie Lennox, love her. I've seen her live, and and this is out of a lot of people I've seen since. I think she has had anyways. Not that she's like dead or anything, but just I'm sure her pipes aren't what they were like in the 2000s. Early 2000s, but she had one of the most powerful natural voices I've ever heard. I heard her at Comcast Xfinity Great Woods, whatever you want to call it, outside, and I really think she was like barely mic'd, and her voice was incredibly loud and powerful and fantastic. Really powerful voice. So yeah, again, the album is called A Very Special Christmas. You can find it on Apple or Spotify or wherever. I'm sure any of these songs, they're all songs on the radio. Yeah, check it out. Do you have any Josh's Jazzy music moment picks? I said it correctly that time.
I have the jazziest. I have the jazziest music moment that you've ever heard.
What is it?
André 3000 put out a new album.
Oh, really? I did not know this.
Yes.
Like yesterday?
Nope. Last week, and it's all flutes.
It's all flutes?
It's all flutes.
What's it called?
New Blue Sun. André 3000's new album is called New Blue Sun, and it's all flutes. It's just all woodwind. There's no lyrics.
Woodwind or flutes?
Flutes, woodwinds, tambourine. I don't know.
I'm getting less excited.
No, you should not be. You should not be excited about this whatsoever.
Was it like a joke thing or like what?
I have no idea.
Okay, gotcha.
But it might be, because if you look at the titles of some of the songs, it's just after we get off of this, you check it out, because
I will.
you're going to lose your mind. And I played it during Thanksgiving dinner because it's just all flutes. So it's just like nice ambiance music. Nice. And this is the guy that rapped Spodio be dopalicious.
And Miss Jackson.
Yeah, 2 dope boys in a Cadillac.
And a bunch of other songs.
Yeah.
That's sad. I was really excited. I thought you were going to be like, dude, it's so good or something like that. But no, it's just an album of flutes and woodwinds and tambourine. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, my excitement's gone.
Yeah, so that's the music moment.
All right. Sounds good. Ready to get in the main topic?
Let's do it.
All right, so I was brainstorming today around things that maybe we haven't talked about that me and Josh are kind of into. Yeah. And one of those things is actually stand-up comedy and kind of comedy in general. You probably can get the vibe that we both have a decent sense of humor. I mean, I like to think we do.
Yeah.
We can be funny people.
I haven't even let loose on this podcast.
No, you really haven't yet. We haven't had,
tame.
the closest you got to it probably was back in whatever episode when you were talking about your sailing experiences. Josh the Sailor.
Oh, yeah.
Sailor Boy or whatever.
Little Sailor
Josh. That's what it was.
Little Sailor Josh.
Go check out that episode if you haven't listened to it. It's hysterical. I mixed it and I've listened to it like probably like 20 times and it's still pretty freaking hysterical to listen to. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I have not let loose on this podcast. I'm trying to keep it tame for the people.
We got to keep it only explicit. We don't want to get kicked off or upset anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we're both pretty. I know Josh has actually seen some stand-up comedy live. I unfortunately and admittedly have not, but spent a lot of time watching different stand-up acts. Just over, I don't know, since I feel like that was a big thing when Netflix first came out. It was a lot of good stand-up.
Yeah. So my stand-up comedy goes all the way back. I don't know if you remember when Comedy Central would have like the 30-minute like stand-up comics, like just a random Joe Schmo.
What was the one that they used to? Was it like Remix or something? Comic Remix? That was all just clips, but they had a bunch of other random. I'm trying to think what they called like the 30-minute specials. There was a name for them, I thought.
Yeah.
Because that's where I first saw like Zach Galifianakis actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was when like that and like the Kings of Comedy, Def Jam would put out like the Kings of Comedy.
Yep.
Their DVD and stuff like that. We'd get that from Blockbuster and watch a lot of those. So it was like when I was younger, that was a lot of watching stand-up comics and stuff like that. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've watched less and less stand-up. Netflix has a lot of great specials, but can't watch everything. Everything. Yeah. But I thought this was a great idea. I thought you had a great idea with this one, so we can kind of talk about some of the stand-up comics that we really, really enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I know you've seen Brian Regan live a few times, right? I was going to mention him because I
saw Brian Regan. I saw Brian Regan. First of all, he's hilarious. Like, clean comic. Like, no profanity in his acts, and stuff like that. And we saw him at the Cape Cod Melody Tent, and I think that guy, he's hilarious. He does like great facial expressions.
Very dry humor. Yeah, I was gonna say when I think of him, I think of his facial expressions and sort of like different voices and stuff that he does.
I don't know what's up with the cranberry, but it's getting into all the other juices. Yeah, he's funny. That guy's hilarious. But yeah, we did see him live. He put on a great show. And like I said, very clean, very family friendly comedy. Especially if you got young kids and you just want to have laughs over just ridiculous random things like cranberries. Like he does a great job.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing. I feel like there aren't really too many comedians who are quote unquote like clean comedians, but he's pretty family friendly. Your kid though, he definitely like will talk about stuff that's going to go over your kids' heads too.
Yeah,
but like it's not overtly like
I don't think
dirty or whatever.
Kids shouldn't be going to a stand-up comedy show anyways, but he's definitely
that's true.
Family friendly.
Like you don't want to bring your kid to see Dave Chappelle.
No. The other one, actually, Jim Gaffigan's another one. I think lately it's too much. They're trying to like shoehorn him into a lot of different roles and things like that, and like
because he's been in a few movies now, right?
Yeah, and when he first was getting going, like he was another one, good clean comic and just funny guy and hot pockets and all that stuff. He was really good at the beginning. Kind of fell off a little bit, but not everybody can be one of the greatest of all time. So
yeah, he's still kicking around. I know a mutual one that we both really like is John Mulaney.
Oh, I love John Mulaney.
Yeah, he's super funny. He's clever. Went through a sort of a cleanup recently, but his whole his last stand-up, I think it's his last stand-up anyways, that he did about being in rehab and like everything else. Like it was cool because it was heartfelt. Yeah, Baby J. Like
Baby J's his most recent stand-up special that he put out, and yeah, you're right. It was about he just basically
a lot of it anyways.
What is it?
A lot of it was anyways.
Yeah,
not all,
most
not
of the time
of
he just talks about his experience with rehab and his experience with drugs and things like that. And, I mean, good for him for going out there and kind of just getting after it head on instead of waiting for people to talk about it or whatever. He just went out there and said, this is what I was doing. This is how rehab was. And he kind of just made it a little lighter and for people to be like, okay, we understand.
Yeah. It was interesting and done in a really funny way. All his previous stand-ups are super funny as well.
New Kid in Town.
Yep.
Kid Gorgeous. Like those are like some of his specials that they have on Netflix, and yeah, he's hilarious. He's another one. I mean, he gets a little bit
street smarts.
Yeah, street smarts. I think because he grew up in Chicago, right? Is that where he was from?
Yes, I believe he's from Chicago. And he was a writer on SNL for quite some time. I think one of the better monologue writers that they probably have ever had. He's obviously just a brilliant dude.
He also looks funny. Like he's just like this tall, lanky, like white guy with like a bad haircut.
Yeah, and I feel like his thing is like wearing suits too. Like he always gets, he's always like super prim and proper, like dressed when he gets on stage and whatnot, which sort of separates him a little bit.
And he has a very like unique voice.
Yeah, he does. It's very. I think he's very John. It's very well spoken though too. His dictation is like very like spot on. Like he speaks like very accurately. Like I don't know how you'd say that.
Yeah,
but yeah. His good diction. His good diction.
Dictation.
Dictation.
Yeah,
diction or dictation? I'm not sure. Yeah, he's good. How about Bill Burr?
Oh, so that's another one I love. And Bill Burr is like the exact opposite of
not family friendly.
He's the exact opposite of everybody that we just named. Bill Burr is like, I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want to say, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. Because it's comedy.
He's awesome too because he really. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this too, like the so-called like cancel culture affecting comedy, which I do think it has to a degree, though. I think it seems like it's tailored back a little bit from COVID. Like everybody just wanted to kill everybody, so it's like we found you did this in 1987, you bastard. Like we're coming after you.
Right.
But it seems like he has this way too of like he can just go right to that line or even cross a little over it. But everybody thinks it's hysterical, like whatever he's talking about, and he does it in a way too that makes it where he doesn't ever feel like he's attacking anybody, but it's I just love it.
And he's a Boston guy, so that also
oh yeah for sure.
He's a Boston guy
for sure. Then there was that one random time that he was in Star Wars.
he was in the Mandalorian. I
don't know, they had Bostonians driving, like he's like driving a tank or something as a stormtrooper.
What the hell, Baby Yoda? What the
yeah
Mando. Yeah.
The last show he did at Red Rocks, I think is the last one that came out. But that one was wicked funny.
Yeah, that one was awesome. And once again, he's just one of those guys that's not afraid to like whatever the hot button issue is that he doesn't agree with. He's not afraid to speak his mind on it, on cancel culture, on whatever it is, like LGBTQ stuff. Like he'll talk about all that crap. He doesn't care.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That he's just like it's comedy. You either laugh or you don't. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. I'm doing this as it's satire. Like it's all supposed to be funny.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a joke. Exactly.
He has a good podcast too. Have you ever listened to his podcast?
I haven't yet. I've listened to him on a couple different podcasts though, but I got to check it out. I honestly didn't realize he had his own podcast.
Yeah. Bill, I think it's called the Monday Morning Podcast.
I was going to mention, I was going to touch upon Conan O'Brien, but it led nicely into that because I listen to Conan's podcast and kind of been, not that he's a stand-up comedian, but obviously a big face of comedy over the past like 20, 30 years or maybe more. Been pretty influential to a lot of people, but the episodes of the podcast that he has with Bill Burr on are like ridiculously hysterical. They just like talk about Boston in the 70s. Yeah. Like it's super funny. You put me onto the Conan O'Brien podcast. What was it? Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend? Yeah, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Yeah, you put me onto that, and I listened to that for a long time. Like, I listened to that for a while, and yeah, he's another guy. He's, like, sneaky funny. Like, he's just so smart, and, like, the way, when he has, like, great timing.
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
That's Conan O'Brien's big thing is he has great timing for his jokes and like when to just add in a word or something like that. And yeah, he's funny. I've never watched a stand up by him, but yeah, just listening to him.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't do stand up per se, but I know like as parts of like his show, like obviously he'd come out and like talk to the audience, do a monologue and like joke around with people and stuff. But I don't know if he's ever done stand up straight up per se. But I think one of the funniest things I think he's ever done on that show where he continues to do is like he does like an imitation of his penis with a voice, and it's freaking hysterical. He's like, he'll be like, I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm gonna go back inside. And it's just like it's so funny. Oh, he's like he's sleeping. Goodness. He's like like it's so funny, but he knows that line. It's funny, like you were saying, like you can tell his timings are great, and he's like obviously a brilliant guy, but he'll still talk about stupid stuff because he knows what's funny. Like he knows in context of like whatever space he's in, he knows how to make it funny and ridiculous. And I think just the silliness of a lot of his comedy is just really cool. Like it's not ever really malicious type stuff. Like he's just really not silly. Into that. Yeah. It's just silly, ridiculous stuff. Like a lot of the old, I never watched him really on TV, but I've gone back through since and looked at a lot of like his remotes and different kind of sketches that they did on the show. Like him, I think one of the funnier ones that I've watched recently is it's supposed to be like, I forget exactly the context, but it's kind of like a joke that like Andy Richter's like basically in a gunfight with like a plant. It's like it's weird. It's like, but it's just kind of that silliness kind of deal. And
yeah, who's your favorite comedian?
As far as like stand up, straight up, like Robin Williams, like unquestionably.
Really?
Yeah, the late great Robin Williams. Yeah, that's how funny. I know we were talking a little bit before the podcast about how you hadn't seen any of his stand up, but yeah, it's a little dated now. But I think he was the quickest comedian I think of anybody. The way that like you can rewatch stuff and I'll still get different things out of it. Being a little bit older because he's just loading on jokes. Like everything is a joke within a joke within a joke. And I think too he had a spiel sort of like anybody sort of has an act. Like there'll be different things. Like a lot of people probably know like his sort of rant he does about golf and the game of golf and how it was invented, and it makes it really funny like joke about like basically like drunk Scottish people like being like we're gonna hit a little ball and put it in a little fucking hole like kind of deal. And like how stupid and stuff. But I just think the way he operates was just, his brain was like insane. The way he could think of stuff like that quickly. And he was incredible at impressions and exactly.
Oh,
yeah. So, that's
my Robin Williams impersonation.
Hey.
Jumanji.
But as far as just straight up the most I've just ever lost it, watching stand-up comedy. Just thinking back specific memories of like awkwardness with my parents or other people. Sometimes he was just the most fun.
Yeah.
I was going to say one of the funnier things he's done, and I'm trying to think of how to put it politically correct on the podcast, but basically giving oral to a woman, he does an impressive impersonation of this, and with his hairy elbow and things like that and his arms, and it's absolutely hysterical. It's ridiculous.
I think it's in his life giving oral on the podcast.
We'll see if we leave this in or not. I don't know. It's really funny though.
Fellatio.
A fellatio? Is that what it would be called?
Yes.
But yeah, it's pretty funny, and like we actually watched that And I think it's his Live on Broadway one from probably like the early 2000s or mid 2000s. And yeah, like we watched it with my parents and my aunts and uncles and stuff, and it was like super awkward, but everybody was just dying laughing. Because at the end of it, he's like, "Are you done yet, honey?" Like, okay. It's just, I'm almost finished. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I've never seen Robin Williams stand up. Like, he's always just going to be the genie and Jack and Mrs. Doubtfire and whatever, Alan from Jumanji to me. He's like, I don't know. He's a funny guy, and he stood the test of time.
You need to watch one of the stand-ups.
Yeah,
that's definitely on the list.
I'll probably give it a watch. But yeah, he's obviously one of the better comedians, especially of his generation and era.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's like
solid.
Yeah, he's Dave Chappelle he's a lot like Bill Burr, where he's not afraid to address like these hot social issues that are happening, and he addresses them in such a funny way. And he never, like, he always comes out unscathed. Like, Dave Chappelle is never in trouble for anything because he's just so funny. Like, even the people that are offended have to laugh at him.
Didn't they ripped off his last special off of Netflix, right? Or didn't Netflix do it after Pressure or something after a while? I thought that was something that happened to it. I saw it regardless, and it was really good.
Yeah, I saw him live at Foxwoods. That show was incredible. Like, that show was absolutely amazing. It was during COVID. Everybody had to wear masks, all that crap. But he gave out his own, like, Dave Chappelle masks, like face mask, and yeah, we all had to sit there and listen with our masks on. But yeah, that show was impeccable. And Donnell Rawlings opened up for him. He was one of the regulars on the Chappelle show. Opened up for him, and yeah, that was the one where he kind of hit all the LGBTQ issues, and he talked about his friend that was transgendered that ended up like committing suicide because she was being basically bullied by people on Twitter or whatever it was. And but yeah, and just Chappelle show on its own is like,
oh my god, there's so much stuff out of that.
Yeah,
he was like super young when he was doing that too.
Yeah. It was the best sketch comedy like of its era. It still holds up as like one of the best sketch comedy shows of all time. And he had that unfortunate time and period in his life where he kind of just disappeared. Like, he got so famous so quick, and there's a million different stories about what may have happened and what happened, and he's talked about it a little bit, but yeah, he kind of just went off, but he came back, and it was like he never left. Like, he just assumed his spot right back at the top of great comedians. So yeah, he's one of my favorites. Well, he is my favorite comedian. Like, his stand-up specials are incredible. Like, even going back to Killing Them Softly, like he does such a great job.
That's got to be almost his most popular, I would think, right?
Yeah, Killing Them Softly is probably his most popular. That's one of his early. That's like in the early 2000s. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, Robin Williams definitely sit at the top for me, but it's kind of some other people. Joe Coy too. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff.
Yeah, no, I've never watched Joe Coy.
He's really funny. I think he's like half American and half Thai, I believe, potentially, or something like that. Or maybe Cambodian or something. Forgive me, Joe Coy, if you ever listen to this.
Joe Coy, I know you're listening.
He's half Filipino. That's what it is. But he gets into a lot of different cultural stuff, and he's also too like not a super like malicious comedian at all. Like, doesn't do a ton of swearing or stuff, but just gets into like, just talks about all sorts of like awkward like funny things and stuff. And he kind of blew up pretty quickly too. Just probably within like the past like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and now I know he's like selling out like stadiums and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are like very recent comedians that are kind of just blown up out of nowhere. It's kind of crazy.
Gabriel Iglesias is another guy that thought was funnier, I think, when he was not as popular. Like, I watched one of his more recent ones, and like it just wasn't that funny. I didn't think it was that funny personally.
You can only be fluffy for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can only talk about how you're fluffy for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also. Are you a Norm Macdonald fan?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, Norm Macdonald is like, he's another one. He's just like another one. So dry. And he's like, his delivery of the way that he talks, everything's just so dry and simple, and then he just hits you with something, and it's like you just die laughing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, he's another one. He recently passed away, like I think around this time last year too. There's a lot of really good tribute stuff that various podcasts, like I listened to the Dana Carvey and David Spade podcast, and then Conan, and they all kind of did different tributes and different stories, just like random stories of how he was like super funny and really brilliant guy. He did the whole OJ thing on SNL, right? Which I think you've never seen that sketch before? No. Or I think that's Norm Macdonald. Yeah. And because he got fired from SNL at one point, and I believe it might have been because of that sketch. But yeah, like when the whole OJ stuff was going on, he like basically was like, there's some line where it's like in the courtroom, like they held up a hat, and like he does a joke basically like, and then OJ exclaimed, "Hey, that's my lucky stabbing hat," or something like that. And it was really funny, even though we were young at the time when that was happening, but I can imagine that was quite a thing, especially for an NBC owned station to be doing at the time. I believe that was Norm Macdonald that did that. But yeah, he had his own, super funny.
He had like his own talk show, I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, he's just one of those guys. It was just effort. It just seemed almost effortless that how funny he was. But yeah, he's another one. He's another one of my favorites. I also got Lavelle Crawford. He's
I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, he's he plays what's the guy's name? Huel. He plays Huel in Better Call Saul, and he's Saul's bodyguard.
Yep.
Yeah. And but he was one of those comedians that was on Last Comic Standing. So I don't know if you remember on Comedy Central, they had like the Last Comic Standing. It was like a almost like not a game show, but it was a competition for comics, and they would have to go and do their stand up, and then people would be eliminated.
Yeah, and I don't remember that one as much, but
yeah, he was on there, and then I think he had like a heart attack while he was on. Like, he's still alive now, but he had like a heart attack or something happened while he was on there, so he had to like leave. And,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he talks about that in one of his stand ups. And he's like a chubbier black dude, and like he's talking about being on Last Comic Stand. He's like, man, I wish I could have won that $2,000 because I would have called up this girl that I had a crush on in high school, and I'd ring her up and be like, "Hello, is this Felicia? You know who this is? This is Lavelle Crowley, and I just won $2,000. What you think about me now?" I just thought that was so funny, dude. This guy making a big deal over $2,000.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he's another one. He's like sneaky funny. And he just pops up on different things. Like I said, he was in Better Call Saul, and you just like, he's in different things like that, and you see him, but you just don't know. Nobody really knows who he is. And then like I said, I've watched a few of his stand-ups, and yeah, he's a funny dude.
Yeah. It made me think the other name I remember the Comedy Central one was Premium Blend, was the one where they did like,
oh yeah,
it's like 5 or 15 minute sets of a couple comics. I remember.
Yeah,
that's like, I remember Zach Galifianakis' stand-up, if you can call that Zach Galifianakis'. I remember he was kind of just strange too, because he did like the thing where like he just play piano and like sort of say different things. But it was like basically like he was playing like elevator music. Yeah. It was just kind of, and he'd just say like weird, awkward things, like kind of like one-liners and stuff. Yeah.
He's great in Between Two Ferns.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's so funny. That's awesome. Worth mentioning in its own right.
Yeah. Between Two Ferns is fantastic. The awkwardness of that show, and just
and then they made they made the movie too, which was good.
Yeah.
That was kind of short and funny.
Yeah. That show, That show is awesome, and he's wicked funny.
I know the one. Have you seen the Sean Penn one?
No.
So he does one with Sean Penn, and like Sean Penn just basically like looks pissed off the entire time. And like Zach Galifianakis was saying in interviews afterwards, like he wasn't sure whether like he's like, I look like super awkward, like it wasn't a joke. Like he's like, I really thought Sean Penn was like gonna like punch me in the face. He's like legitimately, I was like worried that. Yeah. He's like, I think he was, because he's just sort of like a crazy good actor like that he was just like fucking with him. But like, he's like, no, I really thought like I went over the line that time, because he did it with like Matthew McConaughey. He did it with like Brad Pitt, like a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah,
he did have Obama.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. He's done. Zach Galifianakis has made a real name for himself. Like he's done. Besides
just being super memorable in The Hangover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm also a big Bernie Mac fan.
Bernie Mac. Yeah, Bernie Mac.
Who you with?
Yeah.
He had his own show too, the Bernie Mac show.
Yeah, I'm like, wasn't it just
Jordan?
The Bernie Mac
get
show?
Over here, boy. I love that show. Yeah, Bernie Mac's hilarious, dude. He's another one that he obviously has passed away, and like he was in a bunch of movies, like a bunch of shows. He had a bunch of great stand-ups. Like he's another one. I loved him. Eddie Murphy. Oh, Eddie Murphy's Delirious. Have you ever watched?
Oh my god, I don't know how I even forgot about that. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Is Delirious the one with him in the leather suit?
Yeah, that red leather suit. Yeah.
That's such a good one. That's one too that even though it's older, like it still holds up. And he was again like, I don't know if he was like 20. He might have only been like 21 young. Or something like that when he did that.
Young. Yeah, he was real young.
He was
real young.
A lot of people said apparently like he could be like kind of an asshole too at that phase, which isn't surprising. But he thought he was the shit. But like to be fair, he pretty much like he was the shit at that point. Like he was definitely like walking away from SNL and doing all the movies like Beverly Hills Cop and stuff, and getting like all this success and just doing massive comedy specials and stuff.
Yeah, that
he's super funny.
It's fantastic.
Wicked good impressionist too, which I didn't realize until you see him do stand up. Like scary good.
Seriously, sneaky good impressionist.
Yeah.
Another sneaky good impressionist is Ari Spears. I don't know if you've ever watched any Ari Spears.
I have not heard of him either.
But he's a sneaky good impressionist too. He does a good job. I like him. I like Frank Caliendo. He does a lot of good impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man, that's those are some good names. You got anybody else off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head that I can think of. I think we mostly covered it. Any particular like comedy movies? Like, what's your favorite like sort of comedy movie?
Comedy, Step Brothers.
Yeah,
I still quote Step Brothers to this day.
I was gonna say I think Step Brothers is up there.
You
for me.
better not step to me. I'll drop his ass.
Not that Will Ferrell is not a stand-up comedian, but he like might as well. He's probably one of the funniest. He's one of the funniest people like alive. Oh my god, in that movie, it's so funny.
Him and John C. Reilly in that movie.
When he puts his ball sack on his drums, then boats and hose.
When John C. Reilly is trying to like test the mom, he's like, I like to keep a lot of fresh fruits around the house.
Yeah. He's just oh my god, there's so many. This is a house of learned doctors.
Picture this, Dad. I come out of the shower. I got a bead of water going from my chest pubes down to my ball throat. She's already had the old bull. Now she wants the young steed.
So do you know the dad's name in that movie? His actor name off the top of his head?
No, I don't. No.
So he actually had a house in Cumberland and like was from Cumberland, Rhode Island.
Oh, was he?
He actually lived in the same neighborhood as one of my friends growing up. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so fun fact. Not that he's like a superstar actor or anything, but yeah. I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. He's funny too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite comedy movie. And my favorite, I mean, obviously I've talked about it a few times. I think you should leave. I think Tim Robinson is like another one that's like a genius. Like and it's just because it's my type of comedy, like the absurdity and the ridiculousness and the super.
It's very like Monty Python though or something. If you like that, like you'll probably like it. I don't find all of it funny, but I find most of it pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim Robinson does a great job. I don't know if he does any stand-up or anything like that, but that's probably my favorite like sketch comedy like show.
And there's not really any sketch comedy shows on. Obviously, like SNL is like a long running thing, but I don't think anybody our age really paid attention to SNL. I think like all the sketches I've watched from SNL are like that I'm interested in listening about are all like ones from before our time, so to speak.
Yeah, just get Pete Davidson out of there.
Yeah.
Kenan Thompson's staying strong.
Dude, Kenan Thompson's crazy. Like, I don't know. He's the longest running cast member and creative. Like, dude, like the game show one or I'm trying to think if it's the game show where it's what he's like, the what's up with that
Jeopardy?
thing. Yeah, I just tried to sing it. Yeah, maybe it's that. And they keep going into song or something.
Oh, no, that's something else.
Yeah. Or that's like, that might be where he's an interviewer and they like he keeps trying to get to the interviewee or whatever, and like they just never get to him because they just keep dancing.
Yeah. Kenan.
That's the one where Jason Sudeikis like does the Running Man like every time the sketch goes on and stuff. But anyways.
Yeah, I have seen that one.
Yeah,
I have seen that one.
Yeah,
Good Burger 2's coming out. Oh, I mean, is out.
It came out. They filmed that in North Providence, actually.
They sure did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They sure did. Kenan and Kel back at it again.
There was that whole thing where they said like that like Kel died because like someone changed his Wikipedia page, but he's like was very much alive. I remember that being a thing.
Yeah, that's funny, dude.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I think that's a good list. That's a good group of names. But yeah, that's all. Yeah, we just watched Baby J, like the John Mulaney stand up. We just watched it like last weekend. It's so good. And we watched Bill Burr has that new movie on Netflix, Old Dads. Oh, okay. You would love it.
Is it good?
You would love it, dude. They make just the part. There's a part where he like yells at the principal of his kid's school because like there was nowhere for him to park, and so he was like 5 minutes late for pickup, and she gave him such a hard time. So he yells at her, and then they make him do like a group apology like to the whole school, and that part is hilarious, dude. You gotta watch it.
I'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
Yeah, man. All right, well, you want to get into the descent?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Got anything to plug? Anything new?
I do. Have you seen Squid Game Games?
Yeah, I've seen it. The original one?
No, have you seen Squid Game Games?
It's Squid Game Games is the new one?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just called Squid Game.
Oh.
But
okay.
it's so what it is they took Squid Game and they turned
it
into
gotcha what you're talking about. Okay.
A reality, whatever you want to call it, competition, like road rules or whatever, like from MTV back in the day. And they just play the games. How
though? Like that's so like the whole premise of Squid Games was crazy.
Yeah, it's really good. You just gotta watch it.
Nobody actually dies though.
What is it?
Nobody actually dies.
You just gotta watch it. Don't spoil this. But former NBA player TJ Ford's in it, and like you don't find out until like episode like 5. I'm like, they kind of buried this one. That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
He was a point guard for the Toronto Raptors for like ever. And he ended up like breaking his hip or something. Like I think he had like actually like a issue with his spine, so he had to retire early. But yeah, he's in the game. I thought that was pretty cool.
Damn. Speaking of basketball, how's the in-season tournament going?
The Celtics. So the Celtics, it kind of turned into like a thing because the Celtics played the Bulls the other night for the last game to like determine seedings.
For the Final Four?
For the bracket style. So now they're done with their divisions. Now they go to the brackets. Mm-hmm. And so they're like a 3 seed in their bracket, and they play the Pacers in the first round of the quarterfinals. And but they had to beat the Bulls, and they had to win by like 20 something, almost 30 points to win their division. So they like smoked the Bulls, and they kept all the starters in for like the whole game.
Oh, so they just kept driving up the score.
Yeah, they had to run up the score because they had to have a point differential because it was them, I think, the Nets, the Magic maybe, or them, the Knicks and the Magic, were all tied at 3-1, and the tiebreaker was the point differential between the games. So they had to like blow out the Bulls by like 30 points to get the top spot. It was kind of wild.
That's impressive. Yeah, it was. It made me think of it again because I listened to a podcast with Steph Curry interview yesterday. Yeah. So it was top of mind because he was saying that I guess the end of the tournament's like the first week of December pretty much.
Yeah, in Vegas.
In Las Vegas. Yeah, they were talking about more depth of how it worked and sort of the $500,000 bonuses for each player and the incentive and stuff, and how I guess they were I looked it up on YouTube because I haven't watched a live game, but how they were saying how they changed all the court colors and things like that too. It's interesting how they're doing that. You can see they're trying to put a fresh coat of paint on everything kind of deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I mean, like I said, I don't know if I'm more invested. I think my father-in-law is, like, because he started watching, like, so because the Celtics won, he watched, like, the Bucks play the Heat on whatever night it was, Tuesday night or whatever. And so he's, like, into that game, watching that game. So it maybe makes people watch a few more games than they would. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so besides Squid Game, I also wanted to plug, there's a new anime on Netflix called Blue Eye Samurai. And let me tell you, that show is awesome. It's awesome. It's about it's a girl who is, her father, it's in Japan in like the 17th century. And it's like when they closed their borders off from the rest of the world and just wanted to keep Japan like Japanese. So they like started killing like all the white people, and like this girl was born half white, half Japanese, and like her mother hid her away, and then she just became a badass samurai and just wanted to kill all the white men that were left in Japan because they were living like above the law. So she just becomes a badass samurai. It's awesome, dude.
Interesting.
The artwork's crazy. They have a Japanese version of what's that Metallica song? Is it For Whom the Bell Tolls?
Yeah.
Is that Metallica? Yeah. They have a Japanese version of that song. It's sick. It's sick.
Like, is that like the intro to it or something?
No, it's just in one of the episodes where there's this big fight scene. Yeah, it's really, really good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Man. What do you
recommend it to a friend of the podcast, Wilkie?
Yeah, recommend it to Wilkie. He probably has already watched it by now. It's on Netflix.
He's probably
it's
already
not
watched
like
it.
hidden.
Yeah, I don't know if I got too much to plug this week, to be honest. Trying to think, just kind of been watching the same stuff. Still been watching Kitchen Nightmares and Suits.
It's great.
And Suits has been pretty good. It's kind of a predictable show, but sometimes we just need that. Probably find something a little bit more substantial to watch.
Yeah, Kitchen Nightmares.
In the future.
Kitchen Nightmares. You can watch that forever. It's so good.
Yeah. And we're going to be gearing up probably for watch some Christmas movies and stuff with Ryland. So I think you had pitched an idea of maybe doing a Christmas movie episode. Yeah. So listeners, be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I think moving forward, I think for maybe a couple ideas for like a Christmas movie episode. We talk about some Christmas movies, and like I said earlier, I think doing Christmas music, talking about our favorite Christmas songs. I think that's actually would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, I think that's a good episode. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about ahead of time, but it just happened, is I did get up hiking on Sunday. Did Middle Sister and Chikura, so up to 48 out of the New Hampshire 52 of the view.
Yeah.
So that was pretty exciting.
We got to talk more about that one on the next one, because I want to get into depth a little bit on those.
Yeah, that sounds good. But yeah, I don't think we've been doing too much.
All right, dude. We'll get on again soon and start recording some more stuff for you people, because I think those are some good ideas for Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
Christmas season's coming.
Everybody loves the holidays.
Get all your gifts already. Get your gift shopping done.
A good amount. Not completely done, but probably like 80% of the way. Yeah,
it's gift card Christmas, baby.
Yeah, actually, in the office I'm sitting, it's like Santa's workshop, we call it, because all the gifts are in here. I think there might be a gift from Santa for a certain Jeremiah.
Yeah,
maybe kicking around in here.
Yeah, we got some stuff for Ryland. This is probably like this might
you
be
mean Santa got stuff for Ryland? That's at your house.
It might be the last year that you can't hide. You don't have to hide the gifts. Moving forward, you're probably gonna have to start hiding them.
Yeah, that's true. She'll figure out. She's like, "What's this?" There's nothing for
Jeremiah
her in here actually right now. Oh yeah.
He goes in everything. So he's like,
you find him in like the HVAC ducts.
Yeah. like Christmas Vacation, we'll find it like we'll have something in the attic from like 6 years ago.
Nice.
That we forgot.
Nice.
All right, man.
Cool.
So everybody, make sure, please, like, view, review, subscribe. You find us on social media
Follow.
at PUDs Podcast.
Friend,
make sure you give us a like. Slap that like button.
Yeah, slap that like button.
Ring the bell.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time. Bippity boppity. Give me the zoppity.
Bye.
PUDs Podcast was produced and recorded in Black Cat Studios by the Pud Boys. Find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving us a review and subscribing. Find us on social media, and we'll see you next time.